Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you all? How are you all? Just let me know in the chat section. How was your Diwali vacation, by the way? How was the celebration? I mean, did you learn anything new in this Diwali apart from the project? I mean, did you get good insights from the project? I mean, how was your experience overall with the project? Was it good, lovely, fantastic? I'd just like to know in short, I mean, how the things were as far as the project is concerned. I'll just launch my Jupyter Notebook instance once again. Mm, perfect. Yes. How many do we see? This is untitled. That's exactly what we have. Perfect. That's the assignment that we are going to do. So I hope I am audible to all of you, right? I still can't see any responses in the chat section. I'm just waiting for the comments. Oh, there I can see 82 people are watching at the moment. If I go into the live chat, voice is clear, good experience. Okay, got an opportunity to implement by ourselves. Okay, that's fine. I got it. Voice is clear. If you start replying to me, we understand that the voice is clear. But I want to know how was the overall experience. The project was fun and exciting. Mohan is saying. Okay, it was new and a different experience from the rest of the assignments and anything I worked with. Very good. Then okay, fine. Aisha is saying fine. Rishu is saying good, sir. Experience was good. That's what Tanvi is saying. Okay. Then yes, all other messages are related to voice is clear. Perfect. So yes, guys. So before I proceed, well, I'd like to know since all of you have appeared for this assignments and all the project solutions and all. I'm sure you got your results, right? Did you all get your results or they are yet to be published? Because I'm someone who is not very much familiar with this process. So did you get your results? Mm, tomorrow. Oh, and how was the exam? How was the exam? I mean, was it good? You enjoyed it? Okay, so the results are tomorrow. For fantastic. Mm, this is my first class. Okay, Bhargav. Amazing, amazing. It was good. I want to know where do we need to do more projects. Okay, I'll tell you all that. I'll tell you all those things. Exam was really good. Okay, but let me tell you, the exam was not designed to be of a very hard level. Okay, I, as the trainer, wanted most of you to clear those exams. This was more of like a motivation in the field of data science. Okay, so don't be under the impression that just because you qualified the exam or you got a very good score over there, that you are a very good or an don't call yourself as an expert in data science. Till today, I never call myself also as an expert because it is always a learning field. I appear for many interviews here and there, and at times I also get rejected sometimes because there are certain questions which I don't know. But yes, every interview is a learning process. In case if you find any question which you are not able to answer, your first duty after the interview is to explore that. Okay, so that next time when any question like that or somewhere near to that comes into picture, you should be able to appear that. Okay, so this exam was of somewhere we can say between easy to moderate level. Okay, we did not design it to be too hard, neither it was to be too easy. It was somewhere in between. But yes, I'm sure that it was certainly a good learning curve. So that is just the beginning of the journey in data science. Okay, the things are too broader than what we have seen. See, we have covered all these modules in just 4 hours, right? The advanced Python module of NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. Well, these are the backbone of EDA and machine learning algorithms. So you understand how deep knowledge of each of this is required. Okay, so what we got is definitely worth it, but that was limited knowledge. Okay, and the details of all this, of course, we discuss in our the main advanced program over there, where we talk of all these models. In fact, we tend to spend around 2 to 2.5 hours to 3 hours on each of the models. So NumPy would be a session for 3 hours, Pandas would be a session for 3 to 3.5 hours, Matplot alone would be for 2 hours, Cmon alone would be for 2 hours. And then we take a live project where it is going to be much more fun than what you have done in today's live project of PUBG assignment. But I'm sure that it was a very good learning curve. Okay, so Pankaj is saying, tell me more about the essential certificate. Well, Pankaj, everything is listed on the website, and I am also aware of only that much thing. So you got to understand one thing, Pankaj, that I am associated with Let's Upgrade as a trainer. Okay, so my part is to deliver. All other things are being taken care of by the moderators. Okay, so they are the right person to answer all those queries rather than me. Okay, because I may end up giving you wrong answers in that case. So I don't want to take that risk. Everything is available on the community forum, everything is listed on the website. So please follow the website and you'll be getting answers to all your questions. Okay, Vipin is saying exam was fine, but it was a bit tough for me as I'm new to this. Yes, of course, it has to be because it was somewhere between easy to intermediate. But there is nothing to be disheartened about it. As I told you that every day you learn something, you take it as a new challenge. Whatever you learned in the exam, make sure that next time you appear it more better way. Okay, then when are we going to start advanced? Well, yes, we are going to start the advanced program very soon. We are in the preparation of that as to what should be the ideal dates that needs to be finalized, because I have a very busy schedule, and apart from that, our AIML batches are also going on, so their deep learning model is going to start in the upcoming week. So we have to somewhat find a time in between where we can have those sessions not to be clashing with our sessions. Okay. Yes, Rishu, yes, certainly you will be getting the advanced program, and that would be very, very soon. Okay. Mm, thank you, Bipin. Anjum is saying, sir, can you suggest some important ML projects? Anjum, there is nothing called as important in the entire data science field. Okay. Every project you do is important. Every project, not only, in fact, see, everything that you learn new is said to be interesting insight to be focused upon. So, therefore, don't be under the impression that if you are doing a project on spam classification or on Quora reviews or sentiment analysis, well, you are okay with it and you will be selected in any interview. No, whatever projects you do, you have to be very much sincere and loyal to your work. Tomorrow, if I as an interviewer comes in front of you and I ask you any question related to your project or in and around the project, and if you fail to answer that, then certainly whatever you did is of no use. So just because the herd mentality is saying that we have to do these all projects and that is more than sufficient, there is nothing like that. In fact, I always advise my students, not the learning professionals, I always advise my students to do at least one project every 15 days, so that you are in constant touch and you continuously keep on learning. So just like you did this particular project, I always advise, of course, not with this limited knowledge. With this limited knowledge, you will not be able to do uh, most of the projects. Maybe 30% of the projects certainly you will be able to do, but most of the projects which require a huge knowledge, you won't be able to do that. But after advanced program, certainly yes, you will be in a state to understand what was happening, what is going to happen in those projects. So what I mean to say over here is, yes, nothing is important, nothing is less important, nothing is more important. Whatever you do is important. In fact, what you do, in fact, you do, that is most important. Unless and until you do it, there is no way out of it. uh, Gopi Chandra saying, is advanced program a paid course? I guess yes, I think advanced program is going to be a paid course. Everyone cannot everything cannot be offered free, right? Then In fact, Let's Upgrade is offering this program free. That is again a very big thing, because I have been associated with various training institutes, and even for this program they charge around 4 5,000 rupees. So that's a fantastic thing, that you have a well designed curriculum, you have a well designed way of delivery, a proper website, you have examinations followed by certificates. So that's a very good thing, right? Plus a live hands-on project. So I think yes, advanced program certainly is going to be a chargeable amount. What fees? I don't know. I really don't know, but I think again, Let's Upgrade team can communicate you on that. I'm not into all that business, so I will not be able to tell you. Sayed, sir, I want to join the advanced program in data science. If you are a trainer, yes, certainly, certainly, I will be the trainer over there. Trainer will not change, because that's exactly what is shown in the essentials program. So I will be taking that ahead. Okay, so it will be me only who will be taking the advanced program. Mm, okay. What is the course fee? I don't know, Vinuta. That is something which you can see on the website later on. So, yes, with all this knowledge, let us get started with the project. Where did I keep my spectacles? Oh, I don't see it over here. Just a second. Hmm, no, nope. Okay, no worries. I can locate it later. So, let's get started with today's session then. Uh, so, with all these topics you covered in essential program, well, all these topics that you covered in essential program covered in the advanced program as well. Advanced program certainly is going to consist of the topics which are the same, but they are going to be in much more detail. Okay, see, right now if you ask me how much of numpy was covered, if you compare it with the syllabus of the advanced program, I would say around maybe 30% of NumPy we covered. As far as pandas is concerned, we covered it in just 1 hour. We require at least 3 to 4 hours for pandas to be completed. So you can compare what is the content that you have missed upon. Matplotlib alone is going to take 2 hours for us. Then we are also going to do over there Seaborn, that is alone going to take 2 hours. Then the most important thing which we did not touch upon, data cleaning, handling of the missing values, all of those things would be covered in the advanced program, and that is something which will take minimum 3 hours for us to complete. And then after that we will be having once again a live project, not to be implemented directly, but I'll be solving the entire live project for you, in which you will be implementing end-to-end EDA solution of a data science project, where you'll be starting right from getting a particular file, cleaning it, finding insights from it, plotting data, writing down your inferences, and finally concluding on that project. And thereafter, again, at that time, you'll be having to do one more live project on your own. Just like today, we have given you this PUBG project. Similarly, at that time also, you will be getting this live project. Okay, so that's how the things are going to be. So I think that's good to start. Mm, in the advanced program, will there be the same process? Yes, of course. The process is going to be the same. You will be having assignments, and I think that's the best part, right? Having assignments actually help you stay connected with the subject even after the live session. So that is the best part which we feel. On which platform the advanced program will going to conduct? See, as I told you, I'm not aware of all this, but one thing is for sure, that it will not be conducted on YouTube Live. Of course, since it is not going to be free, it will not be conducted on YouTube Live. I think it will be there on Let's Upgrade official platform, wherein you will be getting a login ID and password, as well as I think you'll be getting the live recorded sessions to be accessible later on if you wish to. I think that's available for a period of 1 year, but I'm not very sure. When the details of it comes out on the website, you'll be getting all of those insights. Tarun, no, advanced program is not going to consist of machine learning, deep learning. As far as sorry, just a second, I'll get water. I'm having bad throat. So I was saying that advanced program is going to deal with exploratory data analysis. Okay, machine learning is altogether a different subject which you can think of going after advanced program. Then we can go to deep learning. In fact, that's exactly what is covered in the AI/ML program, which we have in which we have hundred hour of live training plus I think 20 projects. So the second batch of this particular program is going on at the moment. So yes, you can certainly get feedback from those students as to how was the experience. I was one of the trainer over there. We have three trainers in that particular program and I am one of it. Okay, so perfect. So now let's go ahead. Let's get started with the project solution. That's done. I'll just increase the font. And there's the problem statement. Well, the data set that we have is this one, right? PUBG.csv. Uh, okay, so we have the same image. None of us over here is not aware of what is PUBG, right? It's a game. And we are being asked to find out some insights from the game. And let me tell you, the insights over here are really very simple. So they say over here that battle royale style video games have taken the world by storm. And what is happening in that? 100 players are being dropped onto an island empty handed and they are asked to explore and eliminate other players unless and until just one player is left. Okay, now all this thing is being said for decoration stuff. Don't take that thing seriously. Then so they say that you have been given over 65,000 game worth of anonymous player data. Well, you have not been given 65,000. If you observe over here, what I have given you is just a part of it. I'll just open this. So moving down, so we have just 10,000 records, not 65,000. Well, of course, it's not that you don't have it. If you observe this particular file, what is the size of this file? I mean, if you observe, the size of the file is as large as 600 MB, right? As large as 600 MB. And this is just 1.3 MB. Right? So I have just taken a sample of that so that the complexity of the data set reduces. Okay. So going ahead, well, every time you start a data science project, always ensure that sometimes we may get errors or we may get some warnings. And to get or avoid those particular things, always import warnings. And then we say, in case if you get any warnings, I want to filter that warnings by ignoring it. Okay. This is standard step that you do as the very first thing. Just like if you are aware of a C program, the first line we write is hash include stdio.h and hash include conio.h. In the same way, you are going to write this. So now after this, let me explore. So I say import my numpy as np, import my pandas as pd, import my matplotlib dot pyplot as plt, import cbon as sns. So these are the four things that you do. Perfect. Now let's go ahead. Okay, there is something very interesting that is going to come on. First of all, let us read the data frame. So I say my df is going to be is equal to pd dot read underscore csv, and that's the name of the data set. So reading is done. How to confirm that? Of course, we have to keep on inspecting the data frame, and that is the advantage of the Jupyter notebook. You can do the execution line by line. So some people were asking me initially that can we use spider, can we use PyCharm, any other ID? Yes, you can certainly use that, but Jupyter is something which is far more convenient when it comes to data science problem. Therefore, I always tell my learners that unless and until you become very proficient with the code, don't go with any other IDs. Okay. And when do you become proficient? Honestly speaking, when you start working on live project in the industry, only at that time I suggest you switch on to PyCharm or Spider, like that tools. Okay. As far as learning is concerned, yes, Jupyter Notebook helps us to understand and introspect the code line by line. So always go with Jupyter Notebook only. Perfect. So now, after looking at this, let me look at the shape of the data set to find out how many rows and how many columns are there. So as we saw, there are 10,000 rows and 29 columns. Okay. Now, well, the next thing is we got to look into the columns, right? So what is the problem statement? Okay, they have given us the data sets column description. Now, each of the column is not really very important. I mean, the understanding of every column is not really important because I have given you very straightforward questions. Okay. So you got to understand what is the question by Sayed? Sir, when write file name and when pass a path of the file, when I didn't get your question, Sayed, but what I am just guessing, what you asked is when should you write the file name and when should you give the path. So let me tell you that, see, if you observe my Jupyter notebook, which we have labeled today as untitled.pnb, we are coding in this. My Jupyter notebook is there in this folder. Precisely, the folder is this PC, E drive, ebooks, data science, so on and so forth. If you observe, this is the path where we have saved our Jupyter notebook. And if you look into the Anaconda prompt, well, mm, yes, you can see over here that I have launched my Jupyter notebook from the same path, right? You can see over here, it's the same path. And since my Jupyter notebook and my CSV file are both of them residing at this shaded path, that is the reason you need not give the entire path of it. But I already told you in the session that if it is located in a folder, after that you will have to write dot slash followed by the path name. Or if it is located in altogether different folder, then you may be required to write the path right from the drive's location, that is c colon slash slash followed by the folder names, or e colon slash slash in whichever set the csv file exists. But I strongly say that please don't do all that thing. Always have your Jupyter notebook and the CSV file wherever you read to be stored at a single place. Okay. Every time you create an environment, it is very important that all of the things which are interrelated with each other should be stored at a single place. Right? It's as simple as that. See, if in your home you have arranged your subject books, you always ensure that all the Python books are together, all my C programming books are together, all my OS related books are together, so that tomorrow if we want to search, the searching becomes efficient. Okay. So that is the reason I say you also do the same thing over here. So now coming over here, well, I will not go through each and every column name in detail, but a very quick overview of this. So if you observe, yeah, this I. So group ID is nothing but the integer ID. Just focus. It is an integer ID used to identify the group within the match. Match ID is used to identify the match itself. Assist, that is the number of the enemy players this player damaged that were killed by the teammates. Boost, if they were used. The damage dealt, how many times was the damage dealt. Then DVNOs are nothing but the number of the enemy players which are being knocked out. Okay, I mean, girls, especially girls who are not aware of PUBG, I mean, it's okay if you don't understand each and every column, because as far as our project is concerned, you need not have the understanding of that. What you have to do is get your insights from it. So that's going to be easy for you. Don't worry on that part. Okay. Mm, then we have headshots. After we saying how can we change the path in the anaconda? Well, I suggest that you Google out for that. Let's not waste time in that. Just by googling out, you'll immediately get the answer to that. But let me tell you that what approach I showed you is one of the best tried and tested approach. Don't look at all those things. If you're going to change the path in anaconda, it may create crisscross dependencies because of which you may get into a corrupt state. So don't do all that. This is the safest option which is to be used for every data science project, and I strongly urge all of you to cater to the same particular approach. Okay. In fact, I don't even tell all that approaches in my advanced program as well, because that doesn't make any sense. If you're not going to work in that way, why do you want to know? And in case if you really want to know, the simple solution is just go to Google and find out. You'll immediately get 2 3 blocks on the same thing, and try doing that. But I don't take a guarantee over there that if your uh, installation gets corrupt in that particular case because of the dependencies. So be very careful over there. So make sure you have a backup of data before you try all those probabilities out. Okay. uh, is it possible to read one CSV file in two notebooks at the same time? Yes, certainly that we can do. But why will you do that, right? But you can do it certainly, because as a human being, we can at a time only process one file in a single Jupyter notebook. So yes. Then we have, yeah. So headshot kills. Oh, it's very simple. Number of the enemy killed in the head with headshots. Heals, the number of the healing items used. Kill place, how many points he got by killing it. The number of the enemy players killed. Kill streaks, that is the max number of the enemy players killed in the short amount of time. Longest kill, max place, number of groups for which we have data in the match. Revives, right distance, it's very much uh, intuitive. Road kills, very much intuitive to understand. Then going further down, we have swim distance, team kills, how many vehicles were destroyed, walking distance measured in meters, weapons acquired, the count of that, win points, okay, win best, external ranking of the players, and the last one is win place perk. Well, if you are solving a machine learning problem, then at that time we need to focus on this particular column because it is nothing but my target column. Okay, so well, this is a classification problem. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but this is the target of the prediction. Okay, wherein one corresponds to the first place depending on the percentile of the winning placement, and zero corresponds to the last place. Okay, now let us straight away go to the task that we are going to perform. By the way, I just need a just give me 10 seconds. Uh, I'm just give me 10 seconds. I just need my spectacles. I'll be back. Okay, I'm still not able to find it. Anyways, finally close the window. Okay, that's by default done. uh, After the first task, they are asking us to check all the data types of they check the data type of all the columns. Well, how do you get the data types of all the columns, right? We know that we just have to look into the info of the data frame to look at the data type. So that's a pretty simple thing. So I'll just say we need to look into the info of the data frame. That is going with the info function. Okay, then the next thing which we have over here is we also want to get to know over here the third point, which says find the summary of all the numeric columns. Okay, so we got to find the summary of all the numeric columns over there, and we are asked to write our findings. Well, that is something which is very important. We have to write our findings. So how do you calculate summary of numeric columns? The function over here turns out to be describe function. Okay, so describe function is going to find the summary of all the numeric columns. So let's do that very quickly. So I say my df dot info. Okay. Okay. So Rohit is asking for data type. Can we use D type? Well, let's try that. Okay. So mm, df dot D type. Why is it taking so long? Has it ended in it's done? Still it's processing. What is wrong? Save it. Uh, it doesn't take so long. But anyways, let's wait for it. If it doesn't do anything, then I will restart the notebook in next 10 seconds from now. Mm, till then, let us research on person time in the notebook. I can also measure the time required for any particular cell to get executed. And for that, you just need to write over here person time. That's it. That's it. Only writing this is going to be more than sufficient. So when this is not working, I'll just restart the notebook and I will say over here, uh, execute everything above this. So I say run all above. So all these things would be executed. Hmm, there's something wrong, right? I don't see a highlight over here. Just a second. I will leave this. I will just get rid of this, close this, and once again, I would like to start Jupyter Notebook. Hmm, it doesn't happen that way, right? So, okay, yes. Here, where will be untitled? So, yes. Oh, I only have this much. So, I think that work was not saved at all. No problem. What I'll do is I'll just run all the cells, run all above. So, everything till here would be executed. Then I say I look at the head. After looking at the head, I say I'm going to paste not this but my this particular thing person time, so that I get to know how much time is required for this. And then I say df dot, well, you can see over here I have the data types of each and every column. Easy to get, right? We have total 29 columns and we got the data type of all those 29 columns. And apart from that, do you see this? We get this also. The last two things. Memory usage, it is 2.2 plus MB, and the time required was 70 milliseconds, only zero point 0.7 seconds. Okay. Then let us look at the one which I say it does the same thing. The only difference over here is ultimately it gives me what is integer, what is float, what is an object data type. At the end, yes, it doesn't tell me that how many values are available over there. It simply tells us the data type. So yes, certainly it can be used. No marks would be deducted for that. Okay. So now that was the first thing. The second thing was to describe the numerical column. So I say over here, well, this is what we use to describe the numerical columns. df dot describe. Okay. Now they are asking us to also write your insights from that. Now we don't want each and every insight. We just want to see if there is any good insight which you see of. Maybe if I look at in my headshots column, if I look at in my headshots column, I see that on an average the headshots are 0.22 and the maximum headshots are 14 and the minimum headshots are as low as 0. Okay, so doesn't give me a lot of information because the percentile values are empty. So why is this happening? This is happening because we have taken a subset of the data set. I told you, right, the size of the data set was as good as 160 MB, and what we have is just 1.6 MB of the data set. We have just taken 10,000 rows out of that. That is the reason we are not finding a good insight over here. But if you observe over here in the kills place, you can see the minimum kills place is as good as 1 and the maximum is 100. So you can see over here that it ranges between 1 to 100, and this is where the median of the kills place is being found out. So precisely you say that there are at least 48 or less than 48 kills place, okay, which are less than 50%. So less than 50%, that's exactly what you understand. Less than 50% of the people have the kills place 48 or less than 48. Similarly, then okay, count is same for all, of course. What is exactly count? Count is how many number of headshots in that particular column. So we have a data set of missing values, but we got to understand that. Let's say I have a data set over here. Maybe if I consider the same one, okay, just imagine that I have this. Okay, this record is not there at all. Okay, similarly, this record is not there at all. If this is a data set, now in that case, my match ID column will not have the count as 10,000, it will have 9,998. So it is basically telling me in each particular column how many values are available. So if you have count anything less than 10,000, again that is an indication for us that yes, there are no missing, there are missing values in our data set, and you need to treat all those missing values. So of course, I'm not going to save this. Say don't save. Is it a good idea to take the subset of the data as it may give wrong info? Of course, yes, it is not a good idea to take the subset of the data. And I have not taken a subset of it. I have just taken a sample out of it. But certainly it is not a good idea. You should not do that. But We just wanted to give you an experience, and that is the reason we are giving you a toy data set. Honestly speaking, it's not practically possible for you to work on a big data. In fact, I will tell you what is the problem that you might have faced down the line when we come to the right question. I'm just waiting for that. At that time, you'll understand why I did not give you the entire data set. Why was it only a part of it? Similarly, if you keep on analyzing these all values, well, that was one insight which we could find out. Another one which we see over here is in my walk distance. So I see over here that the average walk distance is 1130 meters. Minimum is as low as 0, maximum is as high as 10,000. So if you observe, the distance traveled actually varies a lot, right? And 50% of the people have the walk distance 650 meters or less than 650 meters. That's again my median. Or I can also say that 75% of the people have the walk distance 1923 meters or less than that. So in this way, you are expected to find out one or two good insights, whichever you find are good. Okay. Now, going further ahead here, the next question is saying us find the average person kills how many players. Well, that's my question number four. So I'll just write hashtag four over here. That would be easy for us to understand. We are talking of kills column, right? First of all, I think we need to introspect the kills column perfectly. So I say I need to describe my kills column. And well, if I describe the skills column, I see that maximum kills is 35 and the minimum is 0. By the way, what have they asked? They have asked us in the question, average person kills how many people? Okay, sorry, the average person kills how many players? So precisely they are interested in the average. Okay, the only thing is the question is being a bit twisted, but the answer remains the same. We are interested in the mean, which is nothing but 0.9314. So we understand over here that yes, the average person kills around 0.9 persons. Okay, so well, if you really want to get only that particular thing, then you can say over here df of kills dot mean. So that's going to be the right answer to this, so that only the required values are being printed, not everything out. Now I saw that the next problem, people had some difficulties in this particular question. It says, 99% of the people have how many kills? Well, 99% of the people have how many kills? By the way, if you observe over here, before I answer that particular question, it was asking 99% of the people have how many kills. See, Rohit, understand, since you're writing that particular code, let me tell you that any program which be it belonging to any programming language, every program can be done in at least five different ways. You can use any approach or that you want, but I cannot spend my time in explaining you all the 4 or 5 approaches of printing the main. Okay, I show you one approach, all other approaches, if you are following and if you are getting the same answer, I'm comfortable with it. Okay, there is absolutely no problem that you cannot go for it, but yes, we will not be discussing all the possible approaches. Okay, so, well, they are asking 99% of the people have how many kills? If you observe, if I say, what do you see over here? 75% of the people have one kills. 100% of the people have 35 kills. 25% of the people have zero or less than zero kills. That is zero only. So we understand over here that we have data for 25 percentile, we have data for 50, 75, and we also have data for 100 percentile. But they have not asked us that. They are asking us 99% of the people. So we want, what we want is this only, but not these figures. Instead of that, we want 99 percentile over here. And that can be obtained using the quantile function of pandas. So how to use that? Well, let's go over here and quantile in pandas. And if I just look at this resource or maybe this resource, so you can see over here, for using the quantile function, I just have to specify the name of the data frame dot quantile and q is equal to, and my work is sorted. That's it. So if that really works, I will like to find out df dot quantile, and I say q is equal to 0.5, or let me say not 0.5, I'll say 0.75. So, well, I don't want it for all the columns. So I say, let me say df of kills. So yes, if you observe, sorry, this you got as 1, and this exactly what you got over here. In fact, let us observe for max. I say this time, I say it's going to be 1. It's 35. So I think now the problem is pretty much simplified, right? Now they are asking us you have to find 99 percentiles. So now what are you going to do? Any hints? What am I going to find? What am I going to do for finding the 99 percentile of how many kills? Come on, let me tell me the answer very quickly. What should I do over here to get the answer to this question? Yes, tell me very quickly. Hmm. So could please let me know the number of enemies killed. Kinjal, don't take the column names too seriously. That's okay. Okay, ignore that. Ignore that. Mm, yes, perfect. It's not 0.01. No, 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 Safa, Mohammed. It's not 0.01. It is 0.99, because they are asking us 99% of the people have how many kills. So the same thing is going to be true over here. So I simply say that I need to write over here 0.99, and we understand over here that yes, 99% of the people have 7 kills. Okay, so my aim over here was not to give you a tricky question. My aim over here was made to make you research on what is quantile function. If you remember, I never talked of quantile function in our essential sessions, but it's always a learning curve. That's exactly what was the agenda over here. Okay, now what is the next question? The most kills ever recorded are how much? Okay, so this was my fifth one. Now coming on to the sorry, mm, sixth one. They are asking, suffice saying, is it correct to say that 99% of the people have 7 kills? Yes, certainly. In fact, that is the only thing to say over here. Okay. Sayed, as I told you, if you are getting the same answer, certainly you can use any function of your choice. I have no obligations over there, provided you are getting the same answer. Else, not. Okay. So that's exactly what I explained Rohit also a couple of minutes back. Okay. So please don't ask, can I use that? Can I use this? If you're getting the same answer, you are good to use it. I am absolutely fine with it. Okay. So the next one is sixth. The most kills ever recorded. I mean, that's very simple. Most kills ever recorded are 35. That's exactly what you observed over here. So how do you get that? Well, I can say over here, I'll show you another way of doing it. df of kills, and I simply say dot max. The simplest way to get it out, the most kills per recorded are 35. That's exactly what you got earlier also, right? Now, next one is print all the columns of the data frame. Rohit, max of df kills. I never used that, but I think it should work because max is a very generic function. But don't use that. I'll tell you why. Okay, I'll do that for you once, but I'll tell you the reason also why should you not use that. I mean, we all are very tempted to go with the very basics of programming, but I'll tell you why not to use that. This has certainly given us the same thing. There are two things over here, Rohit. This function, okay, this dot max function is a function of pandas, and this max function is a generic Python function. For example, if you say what is max of 1, 2, 3, and 99, this is going to tell you the answer as 99 over here. This is also going to tell you the same thing. But why are we using the pandas function? The reason is pandas is much faster. Since over here there are only 10,000 rows, the computation doesn't make any difference, right? You go for this or go for this. But I always advise you that please have a habit of using pandas function rather than going for the generic function. It's okay, it's not wrong, but somewhat computation time can be compromised. Okay, I'm not very sure. Well, let's try over here. If I say percent time over here and I execute that, usage error. I hope that was percent time only. Just let me check it. Percent time, yes. So why is it not working over here? Percent time not found. And if I write over here, it took 2 milliseconds, and here it is not working. Mm, Probably there could be some reason for that. We need to introspect that out. Yes, oh, it's not working in this. Anyways, if I say import time, mhm, no problem. But yes, don't use that. Okay. Hashtag 6, take it below. I'll get rid of this only. Then I'll see. No, it's not working, right? It's not working. Anyways, the reason to worry at all. Uh, okay, we tried all the options, not a reason to worry, but don't use that. That's my only sincere opinion to all of you. Always use the advanced functions of NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. Okay, yeah. Then print all the columns of the data frame. I mean, that's very simple. You just have to say that's my task number 7. So I say over here bf dot columns. That's what you get it, right? And if someone asks, okay, if someone asks that print all the numeric columns of the data frame. Well, how do you print all the numeric columns of the data frame? You got to understand over here that if you want to print the numeric columns, well, if I say df dot describe, I just told you that df dot describe is going to give me what? All the numeric columns. Now from this particular data frame, I want to ensure that I only extract these column names. How to do that? Well, just write dot columns and you get the answer to it. Simple. Okay. Now, well, if you observe the type is index, I can try to convert it to list using a function called as toList. So it is now obtained in the form of a list. Okay. So That's a better way of visualizing it. I don't like the index data type. This is in the form of a list. So this is how I printed all the numeric columns. What if someone says I want to print the categorical columns? Well, is it a part of question? Oh no, it's not there. So we can discuss it over here. If someone says we want you to print all the categorical columns, so well, what are going to be my categorical columns? I say, I'll just get rid of this, and my categorical column would be if I say df dot columns. If I say df dot columns, all the columns are available. From all these columns, if I somehow subtract my numeric columns, what are remaining are my categorical columns, right? So I say over here, this is one thing. So I got to subtract from this. Okay, what do you want to subtract? Numeric columns. That's how you get it, right? So subtraction of this thing from this thing. Let us see if we get all the categorical columns. Unfortunately, it is an error. My dear friends, this is the only reason we studied sets. Okay, if you remember, we studied sets in Python. This is the only reason. So how do you get that? I say running nose. I say over here, I want the output in the form of set. I also want to convert this output in the form of set, and now two sets can be subtracted from each other. That's exactly what we get. And you can see over here, set minus set is again in the form of a set. If you want the final output in the form of list, you can directly say whatever answer you get over here, whatever answer you get after computing this, which is currently this, get it converted into sets. So that get it converted into list. That's exactly what you get it. Okay, fine. So now, okay, so it's a part of question number 16. No worries. So we completed it here only then. Going further ahead, mm, what is the next question? They are asking us to comment on the distribution of the match duration using C1. Okay, so the moment they say that you got to comment on the distribution, you are going to use the dist plot. Okay, you got to use the dist plot over here, distribution plot, the one which we saw, right? So I have not given you any plot which is out of the syllabus. Whatever we have covered, we have ensured that we ask only from this. And it is asking us to comment on the match distribution. Well, before going on to Seaborn, I'll just like to look at the numerical values of it. That's my task number 8. So I say over here, that's my task number 8, and I say df of match duration. I like to look at the mode because I think mode can give me a good idea of the distribution. So I see over here that the maximum match duration which we saw was 1376. Okay, so let us think of looking at the distribution plot now. So friends, we all know what is a distribution plot. It shows the distribution of univariate set of observations. Univariate means just one variable. So let's try to do over here and look at the distribution plot. So I say sns dot dist plot, df of match duration, semicolon, so that the object gets suppressed. And yes, I happen to see over here, and we have to write our own inferences. The first inference which I see is, well, I saw over here the mode was 1376, which you see over here, 1376. However, if you observe, I see that the most important point is the data is bimodal in nature. What do you mean by that? This data has two modes. Okay, as you can see over here, that one at one time we are having a peak at this particular thing, and the second peak is available somewhere between 1750 to 2000, somewhere between that. So 1825, probably that particular value is there. So that is an important observation to be noted over here. So we see that the match duration is on an average either between this particular thing or in between this particular thing. Okay, and there is the data which is having a bimodal nature. That's exactly what is the insight from this. So that was all about this particular problem, which is 8. Let us think of the ninth one. Well, the ninth one, I don't think that's a challenge because they are asking us to do the same thing, but this time on the walk distance. So I say over here SNS dot dist plot, and we got to do over here df of walk distance and semicolon. Well, what is the observation over here? I mean, since you have solved the project, I will like to get it, let it, I like to get it to, I like to get to know it from you only. What do you think? What was your observation when you look at the output of cell number 38? Okay. I was just interested in one point over here. Okay. Only one point was what which I was interested. Can you tell me? Okay. One point of this particular distribution of the walk distance. Dollar is also there. Dollar, you attend every program in which I am as a trainer. But I remember you are also there in my Python's essential batch too. I guess you are also a student of our AIML batch, and this is where I see you once again. Most of the players walk distance is between 0 to 1000, which is what Rohit says. Uh, 0 to 1000. Okay, fine. Someone is saying the data is having a right shift. They are saying a positive skewness. I did not talk of skewness ever in the course, so I will not prefer to go into the details of it right at the very last stage to confuse the learners. Let's not talk of all those things. Thank you, Dollar. Uh, then 0 to 2000. Yes, certainly. So I can see over here that majority of this is scattered between this, right? 0, this is 2000, so this I can say probably up to 500 or 750. So on an average the walking distance is between 0 to 750, and as and when the walking distance increases, the number of the people who have completed that walking distance also increases. Okay, so there are sorry, decreases. So there are very large number of people who walk on an average 0 to 500, and comparatively lesser number of people which goes on decreasing, and it exhausts somewhere at the range of 10,000. Okay, which is including the outliers as well. Mm, Satvik is saying it says many players die without walking a single step. Yes, that is a very interesting thing, right? If you can observe over here, this is a certainly very good insight which is said by Satvik. Many players die without walking even a single step. Perfect. So that was the answer which I was expecting. I was about to speak that you said it. That's fantastic. That's really very nice. So I'll just write it over here. So courtesy to Satvik over here, we say many players die without uh, walking even a single step, without even walking a single step. No, that's a very good insight. Okay, then going further ahead, next one is interesting because that is going to test your plotting skills. Okay, so I like to say you over here that they are asking us to plot the above two distributions one below the other. Now, precisely, they say that this should be the first subplot and this should be the second subplot, one below the other. That's exactly what is being said over here. And over here, they want to you to do the same thing but next to each other. Perfect. So that will do it. Uh, okay. So let's do that. So what is that? Match duration and walking thing. So that's my 10th one. So so yeah, that's nice dollar. Very good. So we go ahead. We are going to plot it one below the other, and that's pretty simple. So as I told you, we are going to request for figure object. So I say plt dot figure. Inside that you can specify the figure size. So I say plt dot figure size is equal to maybe 20 comma I. Then I'm going to create two panels. We want it initially one below the other. So I say plt dot subplot. I want two rows, one column, and currently I'm talking of the first panel over here. Okay, then I say hns dot best plot, and this is going to be my df of match duration. Well, this is one thing. This is which cell number? 10. And the next is I'm going to copy the same thing now. So this time I say 2 comma this comma 2. Now, friends, this is one way of doing it, and that's fine. What I do is I copy this. I'll show you one more way of doing the same thing. I can also alternatively say over here 212. That's also fine. Okay. Python is very flexible over here. You can write 212, that's perfectly fine. And this is my walk distance. So this is 2 comma 1 comma 1, and you can write 2 comma 1 comma 2 or 212. Both works perfectly fine. And now I will just do this, and you can see over here we get the distribution as expected. Okay, this is the same thing. And the next is plot it side by side. So when it is coming to plotting the thing side by side, what we do over here is this is my 11th number. I say I don't want it two rows and one columns, one rows and two columns. So I say 1 2 1, and over here I say 1 2 2, and that's how we get it. Well, have you understood this? I mean, this new way of plotting, I mean, it's pretty interesting, right? By ignoring the commas also Python understands. But of course, this understanding is allowed only if the digits are single digits. If it is 20 rows and two columns, then of course it will not work, because 22, if you write it, it will be interpreted as 202, which is again wrong. So please ensure that it works only for single digits. Have you all got this thing? Is this thing clear to everyone? Okay, this additional thing of plot. Perfect. Hey, Chaitanya, you are also my old student. Are you? I remember your name. I am not very sure if you are in AIML or something, but are you also my old student Chaitanya? Because I remember that you have been asking questions in the batch, but I really don't know if you are the same one. Okay, so everyone has understood that. Fantastic. So, okay, let's go ahead. Oh, so I have Dollar and Chaitanya both who already know me. Fantastic. So, the next one. The next one is pair plot. By the way, how many of you had a problem doing this particular question? How many of you had a problem? And if you had a problem, what kind of problem were you facing? And how much time did you spend on question number 12? Okay, on an average, I want to know that how much time did you spend on question number 12? On an average, how much time? I want replies from all of you. I just want to get the summary of it. How much time did you spend on question number 12? Ah, Chaitanya, you're from AIML batch. I told you, right? I remember you continuously keep on asking questions, so I remember the name. Swapna is also from AIML first batch. Okay. 15 minutes. I took only the required columns for the pair plot. It took time to give the output. So how much time did you spend? Someone Satvik is saying I had a problem, output wasn't loading. Okay, only 4 5 replies. What about others? How much time did you spend on question number 12? Kishore is saying it took 30 minutes. Oh my god, 30 minutes. So what will you do, Kishore, when you have the entire data set? I mean, then you will have to go on leave for 30 days, right? Half an hour, more than 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Precisely, it's depending on the computation power of your laptop. Output is not getting loaded even after 15 20 minutes, is what Rishu says. Jayesh is saying it took me 1.5 hours, 10 minutes approximately. Well, now 25 minutes. Sabha is saying just 2 minutes. I mean, that's very surprising, Sabha, that it should not get executed in 2 minutes. Certainly not. Something is fishy over there. Okay. Uh, you got error 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Now, let me tell you, this question was purposely given to you to trouble you. Okay. To be very honest, I purposely gave it to trouble you because I know that it is going to take a lot of time. Whenever you go for pair plot, well, pair plot is certainly a very good idea because it gets us an idea of the entire data frame. But if the data frame is too big in size, it's not a good idea to go for pair plot. So I really wanted you to experience that particular part of data science, okay? The dark side of data science. Everything looks very simple, right? I have a function and I can use it and I get the insights out of it. Well, it's not like that. Okay, so that was purposely given so that you face the problem, you understand what are the real time challenges. If I simply give you this plain 2022 questions without this 12th one, you will be very much overconfident that yes, I got all the questions in a very easy manner. That's not the way, right? That is the reason I purposely gave this, so that you understand that yes, sometimes you even get stuck on a particular question and you tend to spend 20 minutes, 25 minutes, probably an hour also to get the answer. Sometimes what happens is you're not convinced, the output is not coming as expected, then you try restarting the kernel. Once again you try it again, you realize it's again not giving me the output and it's been more than 10 minutes now. What should I do? So you should be prepared for all such challenges, and that is the reason we purposely included that. Okay, so of course, yes, it takes time. In fact, I have also tried it on my laptop and it took me around 25 30 minutes for an i5 processor. Okay, so I did give it to you purposely. So come on, please don't curse me by doing all that. This is all given to you so that you have a real time experience of what all are the challenges that you face when you do a problem, right? So as far as question number 12 is done, yes, you just have to write df dot pair plot, and it is going to sns dot pair plot of df, and it gives you the entire answer. But uh, no, I we are not going to do it. In fact, I'll just say, let's say sns dot pair plot, and I say df dot sample of, let's say I'm just taking 20. Okay, just to show you the execution of that, I'm just taking 20 rows and trying to plot a pair plots. Just by 20 rows, you can see still it is taking me a lot of time, right? Because pair plot is all related on the column. So it is very important that you don't even take 20 rows. In fact, you take selected columns. We have 20 rows, and how many columns? 25 columns. And that is the reason it is taking so much amount of time. So it would have been more intelligently handled if I happen to write only the selected column names over here rather than saying dot sample of 20. And that is the reason it is taking time, because it is computing the pair plot for this 20 rows and 25 columns. So 25 cross 20, that would be the size of the matrix that would be developed, and that's going to be very much time consuming. So of course I am going to comment this out. This may take longer time. I don't want to get into that at all. I say restart my kernel, and after restarting my kernel, once I can restart it, and I say run all. Okay, so that everything till here is executed. Error in 32 to int 64 cannot be converted. Then use a 64-bit laptop to get the answer. Okay. Yes. So as Anjum is saying this, you can certainly pick up few columns and think of pair plotting it in that case, so that you get the insights of those columns. Okay. So you can think of just picking up. So let's say, let's look at the way the Anshum has done. So I say my columns are equal to, what did he choose over here? Kills column. So I say my df of, inside that I say the columns which we are going to choose are else. Second one which you choose is damage dealt. So I say the second one is damage dealt. Okay. Third one which he has is max place. Okay, let us choose three only. And then I say df of column, and I've just taken we need to see what is value error. Boolean array expected for condition not float 64. Column, that's fine. Df of columns, df of, no, I don't think this is going to work. Certainly not. Columns is equal to this. This is fine. Just add a cell and confirm. Okay, this is there. So this is what is being thrown out in calls. So I say df of call. No, I can directly say call. Yes, that works. So you can see over here. Yes, few of the plots are being plotted out, and you can try to identify the relationship. Well, what we see over here is, if you have done it the way Chaitanya has done it, you can see over here that there is a positive correlation between kills and damage dealt. That is, as the number of the kills are increasing, the damage dealt count also increases, right? I only see one positive correlation over here. There is no correlation over here, no correlation over here, nothing over here. In fact, if you look at these two values, this is again the same thing, kills versus damage dealt. That's just one insight which we see over here. Okay, so you can certainly try out this particular way, but if you do it this way, it is going to take a huge amount of time. Okay, so that is a reason which I wanted you to study these things. mm, Sir, in column df should not be there. Okay, yeah, that happens sometimes. Okay, now the next is, how many unique values are there in the match type and what are their counts? Okay, so they are asking us how many unique values are there in match type and what are their counts. So I need to find that. So that's my cell number 13. So I say over here that my df of match count, right? Match type. That's what they say, right? In match type, if I say dot unique, well, I get the unique values, but I don't want that. I want the counts as well. So I say that we are not going to use the unique function. In fact, I told you I just love this function, which is my favorite. That is my value counts. Yes. So you see over here, there are so many unique values. How many unique values are there? Well, let's add a cell and say, so you say over here, there are 14 unique values and their counts are as below. There are 14 unique values and their counts are as below. They start with as high as 3900, goes to as low as just 1. Okay, value counts. Right. So that's the answer to that particular cell. The next one. The next one is, they are asking us to create a bar plot of match type versus kill points. Say my 14 number over here is bar plot of match type versus kill point. So I say sns dot bar plot. My x is going to be is equal to match type. My y is going to be is equal to my kill points, and my data is going to be df. Okay. And if I simply think of plotting this, well, I get the answer, but it's not very much readable, right? So what is the solution? I think I helped you out in the live sessions. I see all of my X labels are getting mixed up with each other, and although I can see that yes, this is the one which is having highest count, but I really don't know which is this. So what is the solution? Rotation, but how? What is the function that you do for rotation? Which function do we need to go to understand rotation? Rotate is equal to x. Does that really work? Rotate is equal to x. I don't know. I never heard of it. You never know. Python has a lot of possibilities. If I say rotate is equal to x, of course. So I can. Oh, one thing is, I probably think you are expecting that particular thing over here. So it doesn't work, right? Okay. So yes, xtix is the function. So we are not going to use this. I explained you it is xtix. So I say over here, xtix is not the function of cborn. It is function of matplotlib. Therefore, we are writing plt dot, not sns dot. So I say plt dot xtix. I say rotation is equal to something new. Rotation is equal to vertical. That's also fine. Okay. You can either specify rotation is equal to vertical or rotation is equal to horizontal, or you can specify in degrees. So I can have something like this, or I can also say over here rotation is equal to 90 degrees. That's the versatility of this function. Okay. You can see over here both of them are giving the same output. And yes, so one more thing which I always tell my students. No, 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 no attendance today. Oh, come on, that's the end of it. No attendance today. Relax, relax, Shubhang. Don't sit for attendance, sit for knowledge. Okay. So yes, always write this PLT dot height layout, open bracket, close bracket. Well, what is the significance of this? So I'll show you what is the significance. Rather than me directly telling you, let me Google it out so that you understand what is the meaning of PLT dot height layout. It's very simple. It's coming over here. Height layout is a very important function, and I always urge that every time if you plot a any particular plot, always do this. So you say that tight layout automatically adjusts the subplot parameters so that the subplot fits into the figure area. So sometimes you will experience this, not every time, but sometimes you may experience. Till today you have not experienced, just like you face problem in pair plot. Sometimes you may experience that your graph is getting plotted like this, and this much part of the graph is not being showed at all. Only this much part of it is shown in as the output, and this is not shown. So it is going out of the plottable area. And tight layout actually helps us over here, and it ensures that it will automatically fit this graph in this area compulsorily. So it is a fantastic function. Always I encourage you to use this function. Okay. So I say PLT dot tight layout. Perfect. So in this case, of course, everything is perfect. We need not even use that. But I just pasted it over here so that you know that later on, whenever you face any problem, this is a very important thing. So I'll just paste this link also over here. Control V and this. Perfect.
Sir,
Yes, sure.
we will have attendance today as well.
Oh, you have it today?
Yes, sir, we have it today
I
as
just
well.
said no. I just said no. So, so if you want to launch it, I think you can launch it right now.
Okay, sir, I'll do it right now.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll be having that layover, right?
Yes, sir, we are having it. Guys, I've put the link in the description. In the chat section, I'll also put it in the description. Make sure you fill the attendance.
Tarun, advanced course would be updated on the website. We are yet to finalize the date, so informing you today only by the end of the session, I don't think practically that will be possible for me. But it will be very soon available on the website, and yes, all of you who are eligible will certainly receive emails regarding that. Okay, emails as well as your Telegram or WhatsApp group, whatever you have, you'll certainly be communicated about that. So don't worry on that part. You'll be getting all that information. You'll not miss out on anything. We also don't want you to miss out on anything, so we will ensure that we forward mails so that you get all the information. Okay, so don't worry too much on that.
Yes, sir, we can continue.
Okay, perfect. So let's get started. The next one over here, well, of course we can write over here that I can see this all column for normal duo FPT is leading as far as the count is concerned, and all other columns, well, they are not trailing but they are on an average around the same figures, right? That could be the inference that we write over here. Now a more detailed inference is going to be possible if you actually get to know what is normal duo FPP, what is normal squad FPP. Even I'm not a very big fan of PUBG. In fact, I have never played PUBG with that much curiosity. So, well, unless and until we get the proper dictionary for all these meanings, it's going to be difficult to say. But overall, we can say that certainly there is an insight over here. Okay. Similarly, the next one is they are asking us the same thing of 15 number match type versus weapons acquired. So that's my 15 number. I think I can take advantage of this entire thing and I paste it over here. That is match type versus weapons acquired. Let me change the rotation angle this time maybe to 70-degree and my okay. In this particular case, you can see over here normal solo FPP is leading. Then the next two leaders are this normal squad FPP and this normal squad, and all of others are not actually very much contributing. Okay, so that is what we understand over here. Okay. Okay. Anjum is saying, what does that black line on that bar indicate? Okay. So black line on that bar is basically indicating us the outlier, or I would rather say the range. Okay. The maximum value that you have in solo is 25. The maximum value that you have in normal squad is 15. However, if you count all these values, the count is just this much. Okay, that's what exactly is that. Apart from that, it is nothing but basically minimum to maximum range. Correct. Mm, Nilesh, tight layout is basically helpful. Sometimes what happens is this is your window, some of the graph figure goes out of it. Of course, the one which goes out of this particular cell, as you can see over here, I'll just show you over here itself. If you observe, this particular figure is being, sorry, this particular figure, as you see, this is being displayed in this much area, right? And we are lucky to have this displayed in this much area. Sometime what happens is this particular figure gets displayed over here and half of this is not visible. Okay, it is not properly indented, because of which half of the figure is visible and half of it is not visible. Tight layout will ensure that this part which has gone outside is ensured that it will come inside this area, so there is no gray area which is not going to be visible to you. That is the advantage of tight layout. Okay, so after doing that, the next task which we have is find the categorical column. I think we already did it above. Okay, so let's not waste time over there. I'll just write over here 17 already covered. Next is box plot of match type versus win place perk. Okay, now that's again very simple. I just need to say over here, since it is a box plot, SNS dot box plot, my x is going to be is equal to match type, my y is going to be is equal to win place perk, data would be df, and I say after that plt dot xtex, let us say rotation is equal to 70 degrees, and plt dot height layout. Okay, apart from that you have several parameters over here. Let's say I'm thinking of using palette parameter. By default it is none. What all things can we give inside palette? Well, palette is all about decoration, right? Whatever you feel you can give. So there are different themes available. One of it I remember, others we need to just look for. So palette in box plot, palette in box mm, palette. Yeah, if we get it, I know one thing is rainbow. Other than that, if I can just find out, that would be good, else I will leave it to you. Mm, yes, second is yes, palette can be set to set 3. I'll just use the first one. I say comma, palette is equal to, as I told you, one which I know is rainbow. This is how it looks like, just different visualization. Another thing that we can think of in palette is set 3. Okay, Nilesh is saying deep is also one more thing. Let's do it. So you can observe first one how it looks and the next one how it looks. Whatever feels appealing to your eye, you can use that. So let's use one more. As Nilesh said, deep is also one of the value. Yes. So you understand over here which values has higher outliers, which value has lower outliers, what is the interquartile range, and you got to write your inferences over here. So if you observe this particular thing, flare TPP, I see that majority of the values are, you know, majority of the values or datas are scattered towards the upper range as compared to the lower range. So outliers are more of on the lower side as compared to the upper side. So we see that data over here tends to be more of skewed, or rather say I didn't talk of skewed now. I will say over here that data over here is more of shifted towards the maximum side. Okay. Anjum is saying, do we distinguish each variable based on their mean? Not necessary, Anjum. Okay, it's not necessary that you distinguish every time based on mean only. But yes, that is one of the values which you can consider for looking at it. Again, that depends on the problem statement. So, well, this is done. The next task, I think it's the same one. So I think I'll copy this thing. What is that task is match type versus match duration. So that's going to be my 19, and match type versus this is going to be my match duration. And again, you can see over here, these all things are as good as something which you can ignore. I see over here, again, the data is more of shifted towards the maximum side. Similarly, over here, Good amount of distribution in the first six columns right till here. Here we see that the data is distributed more of towards the upper limit. Here also the distribution is good. Here also it's still good, but of course it is somewhat shifted towards the lower limit. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. Mm, there is nothing which is blank, right? It is not blank. Data is there. The only thing is the data is spread in such a small range that it is not able to print it out clearly, but it is not blank. Similarly over here also, right? Everywhere you see data, nothing is blank. So it is like if you actually stretch out the y-axis to more extent, you can see that this particular thing can be further visualized as a box plot. Okay, the only thing is since this range is 500 to 2000, if you increase this range from, let us say, 1 unit, after 500 you are getting 1000. If you say after 500 you want 600, then 700, and in this way you go up to 2000. If you do that, you'll be certainly seeing data distribution over here as well. Since we are showing overall over here, that is the reason it is not showing it perfectly. Okay, getting it, Ansari? Mohammad Ali Ansari, I hope that's clear to you now. Okay, so now going further ahead to the next one, change the orientation of the plot to horizontal. Well, this is again a very simple thing. I'll just take a random data frame over here to show you how this thing happens. So I say SNS dot my box plot, and I say over here my data is going to be, I am not picking everything. I'll take few columns. Maybe one is my match duration, second is my walk distance, the third which I think of is boosts, and let me yeah, it has to be another square bracket over here, and I'm not taking everything because I just want to show you the demonstration of it. So that's going to be dot sample. Maybe I'm just taking 1000 because it may take time for it to be plotted and I don't want to waste a lot of time. And then I say over here my palette, if I want this time I set it to rainbow. And of course the main thing comes over here, there is a parameter over here which is called as orientation. I just have to set it to H. That's it. This is the only thing that you got to do. Orient equal to H and it's done. So if you observe when you execute this, I don't want to show you everything. I just took three columns and I had the box plot and I changed the orientation equal to H. Okay. So that's how you do it as far as the orientation is concerned. Now, moving on to the next one. This is something which is a good part of EDA. They are asking us to create a new column which is called a skill. Okay, so we have to create a new column which is called a skill. Well, let me first see whether do I have a column which is already called as skills. No, skills is there. They are asking us to create a column which is called a skill, everything in caps, so it's not the same column. Okay, so I say df of what is that column going to consist of? That column is going to consist of the sum of the following columns. So that is going to be sum of headshots. So I say that's going to be my df of headshot kills plus df of team kills plus df of road kills. Okay, if this is done, it is this task 20. I'll just like to look at the df dot head to see whether it has been completed perfectly. And yes, I got this column kill and I have values over here as well. Okay, so this is what we have. It's a very simple task, right? What is to be said after that? They say that you have a column called as win place perk. You got to round it off to two decimals. Where is that column win place perk? Let me just see this. Yes, win place perk is over here. And you can see over here the column is having round values right up to four decimals. I want to round it off to just two decimals, and I'm going to use which function over here, by the way? I think I have already told you, right? You know all this thing. Which function am I going to use for rounding it off to two decimals? Yes, which function would be that? Round function. Correct. It's going to be the round function. Pretty obvious. So, perfect. So, that's my 21 number. So here I have 21 number, correct. So everyone is giving the right answer. Let's use the round function. Which column are they talking of? Win place perk. Okay. So I say over here is equal to, I want to round off. Okay. So round function is going to round off something. So let that something be x, and that has to be rounded off to two decimals. What is this x over here? X is nothing but this df of in place perk. Let us replace x by that value. And the moment you do that, and now you say df of head, and if I try to analyze this, yes, I see over here everything is being rounded off to two decimals. Okay. Chaitanya has shown us a new way of doing it by specifying n digits is equal to 2. Yes. So Chaitanya, this is nothing but that only, right? N digits is equal to 2. You can either base it or you can ignore it. That's fine. You can write the number over here directly as well. That is also perfectly fine. So yes, that's correct. Now, last task over here. Well, how was the last task? I mean, did you find it easy or difficult? Because the last task was basically fabricated for understanding the basics of Python. Okay. My last task was not to tell you how to use the built-in functions. My last task was basically focusing on, have you understood the concept of loops in Python? Because sometimes you may have to design the functions by calling it recursively. So how did you find the last task? I mean, was it simple, intermediate, or difficult? Can I get a feedback on it? How was the last task? Simple, difficult, or intermediate? uh Rohit is asking, is there dot round function? No, Rohit, there is not a dot round function. But NumPy, I think NumPy has a round function. You can just NumPy has a round function. I don't exactly remember the name, but NumPy round to two decimal is there. NumPy np dot round. See, as I told you, np dot round is the function of NumPy which can do this. A round is a round. Yes. NumPy dot round is there. Yes. So you can observe over here, this is the direct round function, and NumPy's function is called as a round, and it rounds off to two decimals. So that is also one another way of doing it. So if you really want to see that, we can think of doing that. But for that, we need to get it converted into NumPy first, and then once again paste it. Okay. Okay. So I see answers over here. Almost everyone is saying it was of intermediate level. Some people are here who say simple. Anjum, I'm not expecting code over here. Come on, I'm not expecting code. I just asked you the answer. I just asked your opinion. I'm not asking you how was the code. Can you help me out with the code? I'm over here. Don't worry on that part. Okay. So mm, let's go ahead. So I say over here. Okay, I'll just show it to you if possible. Which column was I talking of? My win place per. So df of win place perk dot values. Uh, so this is my numpy array. Let me once again first confirm and then I'll show you how can we do it. Okay, it's a numpy array. Perfect. So I say this is the function which I have. I converted it. Let me store it somewhere. Let's say x is equal to this and I print x. So now this is, oh, it's already to two decimals. Let us convert it to one decimal in that case. So I say p dot round is there. I can use numpy's round function. What all things it requires and decimals. So I say I want to round x to decimals is equal to just 1. Okay, let us first see the output. Yes, it has been rounded off to one decimal. So I'm going to store this particular thing as maybe once again I'll store it. Let's say this time I store it in y. Okay, and this is my y which I get. Now I need to paste my y in that data frame. So I'm going to initially convert it to series because a data frame is nothing but collection of series. So I say ed dot series of y, and let this be called as df call. Okay, and I will see df call. That's done. And once again, just to confirm the type of df call. Okay, so now I say that I want to add into this particular data frame. So I say pd df of, I'm going to add a new column. Let me call it as darshan is going to be df of df call. I hope that works out. Or no, we need to check how to add a column to a data frame. If I simply say df call, yes. And if I say now what is df dot head, so I should have a column which is called as darshan. Yes, and you can see over here it is nothing but same as win place per rounded off to just one decimal. Okay, so is this thing clear? Is this thing once again clear that rounding can be done using numpy as well? But this was not an easy way to do it, but certainly it can be done. Okay. Mm, yes, of course, that can also be done. As Manjusha is saying, yes, that can also be done. But I think using round function over here was simple. But again, it's totally your wish. Perfect. So now the last task which we found intermediate, let's cover that and call it a day. So they are asking us to, let me jot down the task. They are asking us to take a sample of size 50 from the column called as damage dealt. So I want to take a sample of size 50. Okay, so I want to take a sample of size 50. How many times? 100 times. So you got to take samples of size 50 100 times, and after doing that you are going to have how many samples? 100 samples of 50 each, and you are going to calculate the mean of it, and then you are going to plot the histogram. Okay, that's my task 22. Let's do it very quickly. So I say here your knowledge of basic list and looping is very important. So I'm going to create a list over here which is going to be an empty list. And by the way, even before doing that, how do you calculate the sample of it? Well, I say df of damage dealt dot sample of 50. That's it. Okay, that is how you get a sample of 50. Now how many times do you want to get this sample? Well, you want to get this sample total for 100 number of times. So I'm going to put this line in a for loop. So I say for I in range of 100. So that is going to run from 0 to 99, 100 number of times. I want to get this sample. Well, I need to store it somewhere, right? And after storing it somewhere, I want to calculate the mean of it. So I say, let me create a list over here. And what will I do is, I will say, in my list, I am going to append this particular thing. Okay. So what am I going to do over here is I will be getting a blank list, and then I say that I'm going to take sample of 50 for total 100 times, and every time I get a sample I'm going to append it in the list. But I don't really want to append the sample, because as you can see we are interested in the mean of the sample. So I say try to do all these things rather than saying appending the sample. I say when the mean of the sample, I mean that's more easy way to do it, and then we have all the values as expected. So now I press and enter, and I say print for me L. So all my sample means are available over here. Okay, all of my sample means are available. It's just about plotting these means. So I say sns dot this plot of, and what do you see about here? Well, we see that the sample means are normally distributed. Well, what do you understand by this? Well, if I calculate the mean, it comes over here, right? The mean of the sample comes over here. If I calculate the mode of the sample, it comes over here. If I calculate the median of the sample, that also comes over here. When your mean is equal to mode is equal to median, the type of distribution that you get is called as a normal distribution, which is nothing but looks very much similar to a bell shaped curve. That's it. That's it. This is the uh, thing that you got to write over here as the inference. And with that, I am done on my part. I don't see anything new. Keep on learning new things. As I always tell you, that's really very important. Keep on upgrading yourself. So let's upgrade, guys. So that's it for today. Okay. Uh, yes, it's the central limit theorem, correct. But I don't want to talk of central limit theorem at the moment. But yes, Manan, it's the central limit theorem, certainly. That's all, which is a part of statistics. Perfect. So, any more questions related to this particular project? You are most welcome to ask. Else, we can call it a day. And then I'll just relabel it. Mm, perfect. So yes, so thank you very much, guys. It's really fantastic. All 150 participants are still watching the session. That's really nice of you. Very big thank you to all of you. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. So here, yes, so we are done with it. Thank you very much, Gauri, Ravi, Swapna. Thank you, Vipin. Thank you, Ajmal, Nidhi. See you all in the advanced session. Thank you, Rohit, Abdul, Kishore. Kishore, everything would be listed out. Okay? It will be listed on the website. Please refer that. Okay, sir, what is the data type of function? What is the data type of function? We need to check it out. Okay, I need to check that question, then only I can comment. Yes, thank you, Dollar. Thank you, Vikrant. Thank you, Sayed, Arif. So, yes, guys, that's all for today. I'll just stop my share now. Waiting for advanced session. Yes, I am very eager to see you over there, Anjum. What about the maths used in data science? Will that be included in the advanced course? Absolutely not. It's not practically possible. It's very huge. So we cannot include the math over there. Math and all things actually get covered in our AI/ML course, which is a totally 100-hour power pack course. Not in this. The one which is going to be the advanced course, that is going to be for a duration of around 20 to 25 hours. Okay. So you require 20-25 hours to understand this essential, this advanced stuff. Then further 25 hours you require to understand machine learning, further 25 hours for deep learning, and around 10 hours for the mathematics involved over there. So that's how the distribution is. So you don't expect that you will be understanding all these things in a single go. It's not that easy as you are expecting over here. So that's it for today's session. So let's call it as a day. Bye bye. Thank you very much. Shoaib, can I leave the session?
Yes, yes, sir.
Oh, okay,
Thank
bye
you,
guys.
sir.
Bye. Bye, Shoaib. Thank you.
Bye, sir.